The number of fatal stabbings in England and Wales has reached its highest level since records began in 1946. The Office for National Statistics says 285 people were killed with a knife or sharp instrument in the year to last March. 36% of victims were under 25 years old. The number of victims who were black is also at its highest level. Well, Ray Douglas is a gangs and serious youth violence practitioner. He works in schools and prisons, aiming to reduce violence among young people. And he joins us from Birmingham now. Ray, thank you for joining us tonight. What was your reaction when you read these figures?
Well, you know, it's no surprise to me. We've been working around this agenda for the best part of 2 decades now. You can go as far back as 2008 when you had the Street Weapons Commission, which was chaired by Cherry Blair, which showed that there was an increase in violence amongst young people, specifically around knives. So it's up, any gangs and serious youth violence practitioner, it doesn't come as any surprise at all.
The figure of 25% of victims being black is a startling statistic. Why is that figure so high?
Well, anywhere you see high levels of deprivation, whether it be white working class communities or, you know, inner city communities which are populated by Afro-Caribbean or African Caribbean communities, you're going to see some correlation between deprivation and violence. However, I believe we have to move away from the narrative of it's the black lads from the flats. What I'm beginning to see in my work and my colleagues is up and down this country, in rural communities, in white working class communities as well, an increase in violence. So although that is something that needs to be addressed, because nobody's in denial, what we're saying that the violence is a systemic youth problem because violence has become the dominant youth culture.
How? Why has it become the dominant youth culture? Where are the influences?
Multiple reasons: hyper-consumerism, the breakdown of the family, an increase in media, music that promotes violence. Even your own BBC, there you have a radio station that week in, week out promotes music that, you know, supports this lifestyle. However, what we're saying is that, well, that's what young people are listening to. However, not all of them are, you know, playing out that kind of gangster lifestyle. But for me, it's about hearts and minds. And for me, what we've been saying for many, many years, if you decimate a youth service, take away up to £300 million, close thousands of youth centres across this country, what's going to be the side effect of that? Where do young people go? And what we're starting to see now is, as I mentioned earlier, quote unquote traditional young communities and families being affected by violence.
What do you make of Sajid Javid's knife prevention orders to stop people carrying?
I think, like anything, I mean, it's a punitive measure. If you read some of the comments coming from senior police officers, they've said that it won't work. You've seen retired police officers say that you can't arrest your way out of knife crime and gang violence. We have to have an organised effort around hearts and minds. We have to start promoting peace. And when I mean peace, radical peace. Schools up and down the country, and some of them do their best, but no teacher that I know has ever studied to address knife crime in that sense. They've studied to teach numeracy, literacy and other subjects. But what we'd like to see is a statutory response within schools so we can work around desistance, preventing violence of this nature.
To hear you speak, Ray, it sounds like an overwhelmingly tall order.
No, it's like any social issue. You know, we're in a place now where this is not something that's caught us by surprise. We've seen and been speaking about this, as I said earlier at the start of the interview, for the best part of 2 decades. I'm from Birmingham, which is labelled the gun capital of the UK. And organisations, individuals and the local authority have been working really hard to address this. However, now we've got to start addressing this issue like a disease, but even further more than that, like a forest fire. Because as I mentioned, we're talking about dominant youth culture. Just like you and me will leave our house with our keys and our phone, you're talking about a generation that will leave their house with the keys, the phone and a knife.
Ray, we appreciate you talking to us. Ray Douglas, a gangs and serious youth violence practitioner in Birmingham. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome.